Like the video and subscribe to our channel right now and get 1 week of amazing luck. The miracle of birth is one of life's most enduring experiences for humans. We're not alone, though. The births of sea creatures can also be quite amazing, although for somewhat stranger causes. Here are some of the craziest ways that sea creatures give birth. Number 15. Yellowhead jawfish. The male of this yellowhead jawfish carries the eggs in his mouth until they hatch, making it a mouthbrooder. When most fish release their eggs and larvae into the open ocean, the fries are released into the water column to fend for themselves. Until they hatch, yellowhead jawfish fish store their eggs inside their mouths. This behavior increases the fries' chances of survival by shielding them from predators. Jawfish store their eggs in their mouths during the approximately 7 to 9 day incubation period. Even after incubation, the dad jawfish's mouth continues to serve as the baby fish's best shelter because they typically cannot eat anything during this time. Number 14. Horn shark. The majority of the more than 500 shark species that inhabit the oceans around the world give birth to live offspring. However, certain shark species also lay eggs. One of these select few is the horn shark, which is an oviparous shark that lays eggs that hatch outside of the womb. The eggs are shielded by a beautiful yet useful spiralized eggshell, which the mature female can tuck into tiny cracks and crevices in the surroundings to conceal them from potential predators. Mature females can lay 2 eggs every 11 to 14 days. 1 shark pup is contained in each egg case, and depending on the environmental factors, it can take between 6 and 9 months to hatch. Number 13. Dolphin. Here is yet another amazing marine kingdom reproductive system. The bottlenose dolphin's reproductive system gives birth rather than lays eggs, and a pregnancy can last between 10 and 12 months. The infant is typically not born until after its mother, unlike other mammals, because the procedure occurs in water and there is a risk of drowning. The herd's other dolphins stay close to the mother dolphin when she gives birth in order to guard her and the infant against unforeseen dangers like predator attacks. Soon after birth, the mother dolphin raises the young dolphin above the water so that it can breathe in fresh air. Up until it learns to catch fish, the infant is entirely reliant on its mother. Number 12. Clownfish. When it comes to the clownfish, who are the most well-liked fish in aquariums, they reproduce through external fertilization, in which females lay their eggs on a smooth rock surface near their host anemone and males swim over the eggs to fertilize them. As is common for fish species' parental care of clownfish, offspring is carried out by the males he watches over the eggs throughout the period of incubation after the female has laid her eggs. By fanning the eggs with their fins to promote water circulation and oxygen delivery, males aid in their development. Additionally, males consume any infertile or fungus-damaged eggs. However, as the clownfish eggs hatch, the period of paternal care ends, and the young are left to fend for themselves. Number 11. Giant water bug. These brown, flattened bugs ambush their food and suck it dry as they wait in watery areas all around the world. They can grow to a maximum length of 2 to 3 inches. They are good fathers because this is how the procedure works. The males picked up female eggs on their backs. It's not as simple as it seems since the female big water bug needs 6 hours to place her eggs on the male's back. He finds it difficult to survive once he has more than 150 eggs on his back since he can no longer swim as well as he could before the eggs were on his back. The father must deal with this challenge until the eggs hatch, after which his life will return to normal until he mates again. Number 10. Stingray. You are aware that unlike what most people think, stingrays give birth to live young instead of eggs. After the eggs hatch, stingray mothers maintain them inside themselves, feeding the young fluids and egg yolks to aid in their growth. Because of the way these rays live, newborns practically immediately after birth must be skilled swimmers. A baby can't learn or develop before having to survive in the wild. Therefore, there isn't any time for that. The baby rays can swim, move, and survive much like their adult mother after a few brief minutes of being disoriented. Thus no parental supervision is required as they quickly learn which way is up and how their muscles function. Number 9. Octopus. Do you know that a female octopus can only breed once in her entire life since she passes away just as the eggs begin to hatch? She devotes all of her energy to producing and taking care of her eggs. She discovers it dead and deposits her eggs there. She then goes without food and spends her entire day tending to the eggs, aerating and cleansing them. When the male octopus is weaker than she is, she will occasionally consume him, but even this does not help her survive. She will undoubtedly survive until all the eggs hatch before dying of hunger due to it is possible that octopuses have evolved mechanisms that allow them to match the number of eggs they produce to their available energy. Number 8. Cichlid and cuckoo catfish. Prepare yourself to find out about the most bizarre method of giving birth, which allows a fish to securely raise its young inside the jaws of an enemy while feeding on that enemy's babies. That seems crazy, right? You got it. We are discussing cuckoo catfish and cichlids. The cuckoo catfish takes advantage of the fact that cichlid mothers are mouth-brood, meaning they hold their eggs and young in their jaws, by cunningly blending its own eggs in with the cichlids. Amazingly, or maybe rashly, the cichlid takes care of the infants while the baby catfish consumes them all and keeps them in its mouth until they are old enough to survive in the sea. Number 7. Snails. This approach isn't as simple and straightforward as it may seem. These are the faster-moving images. The snails lay more than 80 eggs throughout this process, which typically took 3 to 6 days to complete. The process of this egg hatching takes 2 weeks, and it may occur several times a year. While some lay their eggs in a very organized fashion, others can't wait to hatch them and do so by laying them indiscriminately. Despite the fact that their shells are initially transparent and delicate, babies do have shells, despite what this article might lead you to believe. They consume their own eggshells in order to absorb calcium since they require it to harden the material. Number 6. Surinam toad. The Surinam toad stands apart from other toads with its flat flounder-like face, triangle-shaped head, and little eyes. It also gives birth differently from other toads. Babies emerge through a collection of tiny holes in their mother's back, one of the oddest birthing practices in the animal kingdom. Baby toads don't go through the larval or tadpole stages. After about 3 to 4 months, they emerge from their mother's back as fully grown, half-inch toadlets. Although such rigorous labor may appear strange, it is actually better for infants. Toads are a great example of parental care since they are less vulnerable to predators when they are sealed into mom's back. Newborns that have just hatched can swim away on their own but still require care from their mother. Number 5. Squid. Initially, it was believed that squids, like other fish, used to lay their eggs on the ocean floor and allow them to hatch. Yes, it is correct, but when it comes to godotids, they use different techniques. They usually retain mass eggs in their arms using hooks on their arms, which are made of 2 thin membranes that are flat and continuous and are open at both the distal and proximal ends. The egg mass is a mass of 2,000 to 3,000 eggs that creates a hollow tube that extends from the mouth to well beyond the ends of the arms. The squid eggs hatch in around 6 weeks, depending on the water's temperature. Number 4. Sea cucumber. Let's now look at another unusual manner for animals to give birth in the ocean. Yes, we're talking about sea cucumbers. With distinct front and back ends and 10 finger-like tentacles around their mouths, these creatures have elongated bodies that resemble cucumbers and are thickest in the middle. Its young are internally hung in the maternal colomic fluid, in contrast to most holotherian species where fertilization occurs externally and is followed by a free-living larval stage called a hydroformed brood. The developing young ones obtain maternal nourishment during this time. The sea cucumber's front ends are lifted up from the bottom during spawning, giving them a cobra-like look. The juveniles later spawn through a breach in the body wall. Before fully developing into a perfect sea cucumber, infants float in the water for several weeks. Number 3. Seahorses. who take care of their eggs and newborn babies soon after mating. Mother seahorses transferred their eggs into a pouch on the male's body. They use this pouch to nurture their growing embryos. It functions similarly to a female mammal's uterus. It has a placenta that helps the young seahorses grow and thrive. In addition to protecting their young from predators, seahorse fathers also feed and oxygenate their young during this phase, following some of the same genetic instructions as mammals during pregnancy. The father releases the newborn seahorses from his pouch once they are able to survive in ocean water. Even after being set free, when they sense danger, they return to the pouch. Number 2. Seals. These guys are adorable, aren't they? However, before you get too excited, you should witness the elephant seal's metal birthing techniques, which are more soul-devouring than heart-wrenching. The typical 10-foot-long, 1,300-pound females arrive ashore on islands off the coasts of South America, South Africa, and Australasia from September to November. They'll give birth to pups that they've been carrying for the previous 7 months around a week after they arrive. And, based on how an elephant seal gives birth, it's a day that those mothers have been dreading greatly for those 7 months. Now this may look like a double-headed mythological demon, but it's actually an elephant seal mother pushing one of these pups out headfirst. And, considering that these pups weigh around 88 pounds and stretch over 4 feet long, it's no easy task. Number 1. Splashing tetra babies don't have such a gruesome welcome to the world, but that doesn't make their birthing process any less bizarre. When these frisky fish, found in the rivers of South America, are ready to reproduce, the male looks for a suitable leaf. Now, it may sound odd that a fish is into plant life, but that greenery plays a vital role in the birth of splashing tetra young. The male goes in search of the perfect leaf on which to lay eggs. And, when he finds a mate, they perform a crazy jump. But they're not just hopping around for the fun of it. The pair leap out of the water in perfect unison, so much so that, to the human eye, they can appear as one. After landing on the leaf, the female will deposit her eggs, and the male must fertilize them immediately. After the strange ritual is complete, the male splashes water on the eggs with his tail to prevent his young from drying out. Now that's a baby shower. It may seem like a strange way to bring your kids into the world, but it's with good reason. By laying their eggs above the water, these parents save their young from any fish that would feast on their scrumptious spawn. After a couple of days of getting splashed by dad on their lofty leaf, the eggs hatch, and the fry plunge into the water.